हरे ओम नमो देवाय नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरये नष्टप्रायेषु भद्रेषु नित्यं भागवतसेवया भगवती उत्तमश्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टिकी कृष्णाय वासुदेवाय देवकीनन्दनाय च नन्दगोपकुमाराय गोविन्दाय नमो नमः। ॐ अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनच्छलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपः तदा मह्यं ददाति सुपदान्तिकम् वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरोः श्रीयुतापदकमलं श्रीगुरो वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं सागरजातं सहगणा रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनासहितं चैतन्य श्रीराधाकृष्णपादान् सहगणललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च हे कृष्ण करुणा सिन्धु दीनबंधु जगतपते गोपेशा गोपिका कांत राधा कांत नमोस्तुते तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वंश कल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्येव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौरभक्तवृंद हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णाय श्रीमते भक्तिवेदांत स्वामी नामिने नमस्ते सारस्वती देवी गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष निवादि पाश्चात्य कम करति वाचालं पंगुं लंघयते गिरिं कृपादमहं वन्दे श्रीगुरुं दीनकारणं परमानन्दं श्री चैतन्य हरि ओम तत्सत्। हरे कृष्ण। Thank you all. I believe today quite a few devotees are busy. Some of them have messaged that they are busy elsewhere. So, nonetheless, we will continue with our discussion. Uh, Today is a very auspicious day of Sri Ananta Chaturdashi. Uh, it is famous in our line, Gaudiya Vaishnavas, is the day when Srila Haridas Thakur, very dear associate of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, performed his disappearance Leela in Jagannath Puri Dham. Sri Haridas Thakur is famous as the Nama Acharya, the Acharya of the chanting of the holy names. Uh, an amazing, inspirational personality, an epitome both of humility and also an epitome of continuously taking shelter of the holy name. Haridas Thakur was so devoted and dedicated to the practice of taking shelter of Harinam. Chaitanya Charitamrita says that you would chant every day without fail 192 rounds of the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. 64, 64, 64, 3 times 64. And it is said that you would refuse to honor prasad or, take care of his bodily needs until he had completed his 192 rounds. One time there is this beautiful story of how Govinda, the personal servant of Lord Chaitanya, bring prasad to him. At that time he had become quite advanced in age, and he was so physically weak that he was struggling to chant. It is said that Haridas Thakur, he would chant 64 rounds loudly. Vachika japa. There are different kinds of japa. There is Vachika, Upamshu, and Manasika. Vachika means when one utters the holy name audibly enough for oneself and also for others to hear. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Very audibly, very clear. 64 rounds he would chant like that, 64. So for us, we take between 1.5 to 2 hours, depending on our speed of japa, to complete 16 rounds. So 64 means, let's even be conservative, 1.5 hours. 6 hours of chanting loud japa. Then another 6 hours of Upamshu japa. Upamshu means speaking, but barely audible for oneself, that I can hear what I am chanting, but others may not be able to hear. Upamshu, just one can almost say mumbling, but it is still distinct words, but audible to oneself only. I can hear, but others cannot hear. 64 rounds of Upamshu and 64 rounds of Manasika, in the mind. So 64 into 3, 192 rounds. Not once a year, huh? Not only on Ananta Chaturdashi, every day. So there's this beautiful story of how Govinda, the personal servant of Lord Chaitanya, one day, usually Lord Chaitanya would visit Haridas Thakur every day in the morning after taking darshan of Lord Jagannath, and then after the morning bhoga offering, Lord Chaitanya would bring back some prasad of Jagannath and give it to Lord Chaitanya, to Haridas Thakur every day. Haridas Thakur, being born in a Mohammedan family, considered by social considerations as outcast. As you know, Jagannath temple is pretty strict to not allow non-Hindus to enter the temple. So Haridas Thakur wasn't allowed to enter the temple. Actually, he never even made an attempt. He never even made an attempt because he knew, not that he knew, he considered himself so lowly and fallen that he would think that if I go to the temple, I will contaminate others. That was his level of humility. Extremely humble. This is one of the very special characteristics of the devotees of Lord Chaitanya. Intense detachment and intense humility. Oftentimes when detachment is not combined with genuine spiritual advancement, it results in pride rather than humility. Oh, I am so detached. These people are all attached. I am so detached. Intense humility. So I go, how I'm not even qualified to enter the temple. So Lord Chaitanya would be so pleased by this humility, because without that kind of humility, genuine, sincere humility of thinking oneself as insignificant, one will not be able to chant the holy name in the right consciousness. The guidance given by Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu himself to all the Gaudiya Vaishnavas, all his followers, Stranadapi Sunichena, Tarorapi Sahishnana, Amanina, Manadena, Kirtaniya Sadahari. You want to be able to Kirtaniya Sadahari, always chant the holy name, like what Haridas Thakur did. It is not just about mental and verbal energy to be able to mutter the holy name. It requires spiritual strength which emanates from the substratum of deep attachment to the Lord with deep, sincere, genuine humility and service attitude. That is why genuine spiritual perfection, as explained by Lord Chaitanya, is possible when one has a combination of chanting the holy name along with following of the verse of Trinadapi Sulichena, Tarorapi Sahishnana, Tamanina, Manadena, Kirtanya, Sadha. So Haridas Thakur would never attempt to go to the temple. He would just stay somewhere not far away from the temple, a place known as Siddha Bakula. There's a beautiful Bakula tree under which he would sit and chant the holy names. And Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu would, every day after his morning darshan, bring Jagannath's Mahaprasad. So the Acharyas say, everyone goes to see Jagannath in the temple, but Jagannath in the form of Lord Chaitanya comes to see Haridas Thakur. That is the quality. So sometimes we think, we have to make ourselves very important in the society of devotees. Then we will impress everyone. And then maybe we may impress Krishna. Krishna will think, oh, this person is such a great devotee of mine. That is not the path to attracting attention of the Lord. The Lord's attention isn't attracted by impressing the Lord with one's qualities, achievements. Because our qualities as well as our achievements are actually given by the Lord Himself. How really can we impress the Lord? Is it really possible to impress? Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, Yad yad vibhuti mat sattvam Srimad urjitam evava tattadevavagacchitvam mat vijamsha sambhava. Whenever you see any extraordinary display of opulence, any vibhuti of mind, any power, any opulence, any extraordinary display, understand that it is a small spark of my splendor. So, are we going to impress the fire by showing a spark to the fire? See, I have spark. Spark is coming from the fire. We are just blessed by the spark because of our karma. Krishna is allowing us to manifest some vibhuti temporarily. That's not the way to get Krishna's attention. A heart with a humble service attitude is what attracts Krishna. So Haridas Thakur was the embodiment of that kind of a humble heart. Despite intense detachment, despite chanting the holy names, he felt himself so utterly unqualified. Please forgive me, I'm taking some time for this, even though the topic is Bhagavatam. I think it is very important. These acharyas have left such excellent examples for us. These are the footsteps that we want to follow. We cannot imitate. These are the footsteps that we have to follow. In full shelter of the holy name. And at the same time also having a genuine selfless attitude. Usually the tendency is that when one becomes accomplished in spiritual circles, in spiritual societies, becomes big preacher, big manager, big leader, successful, build temples, build a congregation, reach so much, gets name and fame. There's a strong tendency to not be able to maintain humble service attitude. And that actually is a very big risk and danger in the life of a sadhaka. But the example of these acharyas, whether it be Haridas Thakur, Sri Jiva Goswami, Raghunath Das Goswami, Rup Sanatan, so exemplary in being so careful to never lose sight of their own insignificance despite their immense attainment. And that is possible only when one never loses sight of the reality that all qualities and attainments that I have are simply manifest through the blessings of the Lord. And that is the truth. So devotee's humility is not an artificial imposition of his mind. Not that I am rich, but let me just act as if I am so ordinary. For us at the sadhaka level, we sometimes act like that. We think internally we are very great. Now I'm in the association of devotees, I have to act humble. Prabhu, I'm so fallen. And that may be good in the initial stages to act like that, even though one doesn't have it. But we have to eventually come to the point of genuine humility through the process of purification of our hearts, where at the point of realization, one comes to a firm and clear conviction. I am actually so infinitesimal. I am so small. I am so insignificant, no matter how much I may be perceived as great in this world, because all greatness or attractive features that I manifest are simply the Lord's opulences. I'm so helplessly dependent on the Lord. Any moment, I may be entrapped by the all-powerful Maya energy of the Lord. I need to moment take shelter of the Lord. That was the consciousness of Haridas. A great pure devotee like Haridas Thakur is never manifesting the mentality, I have overcome Maya. What these three modes will do to me. Moment to moment, they are taking shelter. I am so fallen, I am so insignificant. So when Govinda, at the advanced stage of Haridas Thakur, he comes to Haridas Thakur one day. Usually Lord Chaitanya would come that day. For some reason, Lord Chaitanya was busy, sent Govinda with the Mahaprasad, and Govinda goes in. Haridas Thakur is lying, he's struggling to even get up. He brings him Mahaprasad, and he's so overwhelmed. The Lord has come in the form of Mahaprasad. Very respectfully, he welcomes the Mahaprasad as if the Lord has personally come. The Lord is not different from his Mahaprasad. He offers Dandavas to Mahaprasad, and then very humbly, after offering due respects to Mahaprasad of Jagannath. Jagannath's Mahaprasad is very special. It is said, generally we take darshan of the Lord and then take his prasad, but in Puri, it's okay to take prasad first and then take darshan. Jagannath is available in the form of his Mahaprasad. He offers respects and he tells Govinda, thank you so much for bringing the Lord's Mahaprasad, but I'm so sorry. I cannot properly honor it now because I have not yet completed my rounds. But then, just so that one doesn't disrespect Mahaprasad, he just takes one grain of the Mahaprasad and puts it in his mouth, just to not disrespect it. So that's the standard Haridas Thakur has taught us. That's how to respect. Sometimes one should not say no to Mahaprasad. Even if, whatever situation, of course, if it's Ekadashi, you don't take grain Mahaprasad in your mouth, that you must be careful. But one can still offer respects. One should not say, I don't want. That becomes offensive. So one grain, I offer respects, but I cannot eat my meal now because I haven't completed my round. So that was his consciousness, his humility. And Chaitanya Charitamrita has elaborate conversations of very humble, beautiful conversations between Lord Chaitanya and Haridas Thakur. Lord Chaitanya tells Haridas Thakur, comes to him and says, you're so old now. Why you are chanting 192 rounds? It's okay, you're already perfected soul. You should reduce your japa now. No need. You have perfected, you have attained now, you have set the perfect example. So imagine Krishna is telling the devotee, reduce your sadhana. And Haridas Thakur says, no, no, my Lord, I am so diseased. The problem is not that my body is not fine. Problem is that my mind is not fine. I must chant the holy name, otherwise my mind will be in Maya. That kind of humility. Anyway, there's a lot of detailed, beautiful conversation. You can read this in Chaitanya Charitamrita, but Haridas Thakur especially asked the Lord for one blessing. He said, Lord, my one desire is that if you want to be kind to me, just give me this one blessing that when I leave my body, I can be looking at your beautiful lotus face as I'm leaving your body. And on this day, the disappearance day, Anant Chaturdashi, that good fortune was bestowed on Haridas Thakur. Lord Chaitanya came to Haridas Thakur and Lord Chaitanya asked Haridas Thakur, how are you, Haridas? And Haridas just said, oh Lord, whatever mercy you bestow on me, which means he's saying, I'm just begging for your mercy. What can I say? What can I do? Understanding that particular situation, he requested for the Lord Chaitanya's feet, and the Lord, out of his causeless mercy, put his lotus foot on the chest of Haridas Thakur. He's lying down. Can you imagine? So beautiful. Holding and clasping to Lord Chaitanya's lotus feet on his heart, Haridas Thakur was looking at the beautiful face of Lord Chaitanya. And he was chanting Shri Krishna Chaitanya, Shri Krishna Chaitanya. Shri is Radharani, Krishna, Chaitanya is Lord Chaitanya, Radha Krishna. Shri Krishna Chaitanya, Radha Krishna nahi anya. Meditating on the lotus feet of the lotus face of the Lord, keeping the Lord's lotus feet on his chest, chanting Shri Krishna Chaitanya, Haridas Thakur in the holy dham of Jagannath Puri left his body and went to the spiritual world. Is there any better example of departure from this world? So this is how his perfect Krishna consciousness, his perfect absorption in Krishna consciousness was so beautifully reciprocated by the Lord, who gave him such a beautiful departure. And Lord Chaitanya was so overwhelmed out of love for Haridas. He loved Haridas like anything. He loved him so much. Lord Chaitanya organized a wonderful festival. Normally, when somebody dies, we have a lamentation. But when a great Vaishnava disappears, there is celebration. Why celebration? Even though devotees are sad that the devotee has disappeared, there is a celebration that the devotee will go to the spiritual world. So Lord Chaitanya lifted the body of Haridas Thakur and he was dancing and dancing and dancing. He took him to the beach of Jagannath Puri. He bathed him in the waters of the ocean and he declared that this ocean is now purified because it has bathed the body of Haridas for all time to come. And devotees, the water which was washing the feet of Haridas Thakur's body, and normally dead body nobody wants to touch. The water which was washing the feet of Haridas Thakur's departed body, they were drinking that water to purify themselves. Lord Chaitanya went on dancing and dancing. And he collected various donations and he had a festival to distribute prasad in honor of Haridas Thakur's glorious departure. And the Lord personally buried Haridas Thakur in Samadhi. So all this beautiful pastime happened on this day of Ananta Chaturdashi. So Haridas Thakur is famous as the Nama Acharya. He is none other than Brahma, Lord Brahma, who came to this world to become a humble, insignificant devotee, to simply chant the holy name and take a very humble form. The Acharyas explain that in Krishna Leela, when Brahmaji In the Brahma Vimohan Leela, uh, temporarily kidnapped the cowherd boys and cows of Krishna just to test this young boy who he was doubting whether he's Krishna. And then Lord Hari, through his spiritual potency, expanded himself as the cows and the calves especially, not the cows, the calves and the cowherd boys. Brahma was bewildered, and eventually he realized that all of these are expansions of the Lord. Then he surrendered and he felt so remorseful that actually I performed this offense. And he felt so remorseful that thinking myself great, I performed this offense to the Lord, even though the Lord didn't really think of it like that. That Brahmaji prayed to the Lord that I have committed an offense. Please give me an opportunity. As an atonement, I want to be born on this earth as a very neglected low-class person that nobody respects. And I just want to exclusively take shelter of you and your lotus feet in the form of your holy names. I just want to be a nobody. So Brahmaji appeared as Haridas Thakur in Lord Chaitanya's Leela. The Lord gave him that position to fulfill his desire. So everyone in this world wants to be great. But those who are actually great, they're looking for the position of being an insignificant servant. Insignificant in the sense that they are not seeking for significance. One can do great things in the service of the Lord, but one is not aspiring for importance. So that is the heart of the devotee. That is the heart of the pure devotee. Not wanting greatness, not wanting importance, but wanting to, with a pure, humble, selfless heart, take shelter of the Lord. So that is the wonderful example of Haridas Thakur. So today is his disappearance day. So let us pray to him that he may give us his blessings to develop strong faith in the holy name, taste for chanting the holy name, and the right consciousness for chanting the holy name. The holy name, although all powerful, will bear fruit when we chant it with the right consciousness. It will give us the fruit of prema. Of course, the holy name will always give us fruit. But what fruit it gives us? We want the fruit of prema. Holy name can give us bhukti, can give us mukti, and can give us prema. We are interested in prema. Because Harinam is Chintamani. Harinama Chintamani. We fulfill all desires. If we chant it with offenses, we will get material blessings. If we chant it in the clearing stage, it can give us up to liberation. But when we chant Shuddhanam, it can give us prema. So we want prema. So we need to chant the holy name in affection for the Lord, with a selfless desire, in a state of very sincere, utter humility. And that is why the instructions of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in the form of Trinadapi Sunichena, Taror Api Sahishmana, Amanina Manadena, Kirtaniya Sadahari, become so important. To want to be important in a material or spiritual sense, Srila Prabhupada says, a devotee who wants to be important in a material or a spiritual sense is unable to taste the really sweet taste of devotional service. Prabhupada says in one of the purports to Bhagavad Gita, very profound statement. So yes, while we can and may perform great tasks in the Lord's service, we must never lose sight of the principle that what is attractive to the Lord is not our display of great attainments, because the attainments are by His blessings, but by sincerely and humbly taking shelter of Him and rendering service to Him in the mood of servant of the servant, the humble heart. That is the perfection of consciousness, and that is the consciousness which attracts the Lord. whether it be Haridas Thakur, whether it be Sridhar Kholavech, individuals who were obscure to society, unknown, unglorified, seemingly insignificant. But they were so attractive to the Lord that the Lord would every day go to them. Lord Chaitanya every day would visit Haridas Thakur. Lord Chaitanya in his younger days would every day visit. This was pre-sannyas time. Every day visit Sridhar Kholavech and argue with him on the price of the bananas and banana cups, banana leaf cups. So these are the wonderful examples that these great personalities have left for us. So our humble obeisances to them, so that we can understand this. So while chanting the holy names is very important. When we hear these pastimes and this philosophy of what we are discussing now, as has been explained by our acharyas, we are able to develop the right purity of intention when we do our japa. Japa is important, but if the japa is not performed with the right intention, it will not give the desirable fruit. So when we hear this, why we are discussing these finer points of consciousness is unless we are alert to this and we try to mold our consciousness, our mind, our hearts, and purify our intentions in this direction. Even if we can't, at least we make an endeavor. We will not develop. The name will not reciprocate to purify our hearts and give us that blessing of a purified heart with the right attitude of devotion. And that is why it is very important. Ye yatha mam prapadyanti tamastatthaiva vajamyaham mama vartman vartante manusya partha. Thank you very much. So I thought it's apt to discuss a little bit about the glories of Haridas Thakur. So now we'll discuss a little bit about our topic for today. Before that, I want to just we have a special guest. We have our Grace Shaligram Priya Devi Dasi. Mataji, welcome. Dandavat. Thank you so much for joining our class for the first time. I think Mataji is from Nashik. Invited by Amit Prabhu. Thank you, Mataji, for joining the class and welcome. So we want to continue our discussion of the 12th chapter. We have been discussing the pastime of Mohini Murti and how Mohini Murti bewildered Lord Shiva. So in the last class, quickly summarizing, we discussed how Lord Shiva became very inquisitive, very curious to see that beautiful form of the Lord who took the form of Mohini Murti to bewilder the demons and give the nectar to the demons. Lord Shiva became very curious. I must see that beautiful form. So Lord Shiva, along with Uma, Parvati, along with his associates, went to the abode of Lord Hari. And he requested, he actually offered beautiful prayers glorifying Lord Hari. And we discussed this in the last class, how he establishes Lord Hari's position as fully transcendental and himself in the position of a servant of the Lord. Even though there are many who worship Lord Shiva as supreme, Lord Shiva reveals his position that I am Mahesh, I am big amongst the Devatas, but the supreme transcendental Lord is Lord Hari Vishnu. I am in the position of servant. And then he expresses his desire to Lord Vishnu that, can you show? I wasn't there. I drank the poison. Then I was elsewhere and I heard you assume this very beautiful form of Mohini Murti. I have seen all your incarnations. I must see this. This is special. I have not seen you in the form of a woman. This is very interesting. Can you please grant me this favor of showing me that darshan? So Lord Vishnu kind of smiles and says, "Yeah, yeah, I took a form, a very beautiful form to bewilder the demons. But O Sura Sattama, O great amongst the Devatas, I shall reveal to you that form which can evoke lust in the hearts of those who behold it. Kaminam Bahu Mantavyam. Especially it is appreciated by lusty people. Sankalpa Prabhava Udayam. Now Lord Hari was thinking that if I show the same form that I have shown to the demons, Lord Shiva will not be able to appreciate sufficiently my attractive potency because Lord Shiva is not bewildered by Mahamaya. He cannot be attracted by normal lust. So Lord Vishnu smiles and kind of asks Lord Shiva that, are you sure you want to see this? Because I'm going to manifest a very special form which can agitate lusty desires even within you. Even though he doesn't say it like that, he gives sufficient warning, hints to Lord Shiva that this is what will happen. And Lord Shiva is actually so eager because when the Lord displays his extraordinary potency, great devotees, they are amazed. Their appreciation of the Lord and his glories only increases. They don't feel low. Wow, my Lord is so great. So when Lord Shiva was firm that he wanted to see, Lord Vishnu suddenly disappeared from the scene. Lord Shiva and Umar standing there and where he went. Lord Vishnu is Lord Shiva is looking around where. And then suddenly Lord Shiva sees a very beautiful woman in a nearby forest, wearing a very beautiful sari, ornamented with a beautiful belt, earrings. Earrings were dancing on the cheek, and she was so exquisitely beautiful, so exquisitely beautiful. Playing with a ball, a young girl, attractively dressed. In fact, her dressing was also actually quite meager. It is that she was just barely covered with a tight cloth. The cloth was tied with her belt, beautiful ornaments, and playing with a ball. Restless eyes. A girl who is beautiful, shapely, and restless eyes. These are sure shot mechanisms of agitating the minds of those who are looking upon her. It is said as she was playing, the reason she was playing with a ball is because of playing with the ball, she is jumping around. And as she is jumping around, it is obvious that her movements and the shaking of her body is especially agitating to those who are beholding. Even though the Bhagavatam is describing, I don't want to be very explicit. Prabhupada sometimes would say that at one time only men would play sports, then women came into sports the last few decades. And Prabhupada says men introduce women's sports just so that they can sit and see ladies and women jumping around and playing, so that they can see their attractive bodies as they jump around and play around. So there are men who may not be so interested in tennis, but when there is women's tennis, they are very interested in seeing the tennis. So that is the nature of lusty men. So Lord Shiva is seeing this beautiful lady, scantily clothed, very attractive features, playing with a ball, jumping around, restless eyes, captivating, scattered hair. That's what the Shastra says the hair should be tied. When the hair is scattered, it is more agitating. And that beauty manifested by the Lord's internal energy, not just manifested by Mahamaya, but by the Lord's internal potency. And all this was still one thing. What was even more? This beautiful lady with restless eyes playing around, Lord, she was already attracted, captivated by that sight being manifested of the internally. On top of that, that beautiful Mohini Murti with her restless eyes, she was glancing at Lord Shiva. And the eyes of Lord Shiva were meeting with the eyes of Mohini Murti. Just glancing, then looking elsewhere, then again glancing. So anyway, a beautiful lady for a man is already agitating. With restless eyes and beautiful form is already agitating. Playing with the ball is already agitating. And also looking at, occasionally looking. So Lord Shiva is feeling is that, oh, she likes me. She's looking at me. Hey, mere taraf, like young college boys. Oh, she's looking at me. Oh, she's looking at me. When she's attracted. So boys get very excited. When a girl, when she's talking to her friends and suddenly looking at the boy and just smiling. Eyes are meeting eyes. And Lord Shiva, Parvati is there just nearby. But Lord Shiva's mind is getting captivated. Oh, she looked at me. Oh, she likes me. She's playing. And Lord Shiva starts moving towards her. Lord Shiva has already lost context of what is the scene around him. He's forgotten already. Uma is next to him, his associates and the ghosts are around him. As soon as Lord Shiva's mind is captivated, Mohini Murti took the illusion one notch higher. Already dancing with ball, already restless eyes, already eyes meeting with eyes, captivated, giving him the feel, I like you, and Lord Shiva is already captivated. Once Lord Shiva was captivated, what Mohini Murti did? Suddenly, a breeze came. Hawa ka jhoka. And what that breeze did? Mohini Murti, who was wearing a very fine dress, the blowing of that beautiful gentle breeze. And as she was looking at Lord Shiva, giving him a look, that breeze moved the cloth on her body a little bit to the side. I hope you get the idea what I'm talking about. Now, what can be more agitating for a young, attractive male who's already attracted to a lady who's giving him signal and the cloth is already shifting a bit, giving him a sneak peek into her beautiful, attractive bodily features. Well, Bhagavatam is saying, I'm not simply concocting all this. It's literally like this. I'm actually censoring some of this already. So I'm giving you censored version. So Lord Shiva's good sense was, practically taken away. And it is said he approached her without shame. And Uma is watching, Arey, ye kya ho raha hai? Because Lord Uma Devi knows what is going on. She didn't interrupt the whole process. But, Lord Uma is saying, and as Lord Shiva started approaching Mohini, showing very shy and bashful, she ran and hid herself among the trees. It is said practically her belt became loose and the cloth almost like went away from her body. And Lord Shiva could actually see the beautiful form of her body. And being ashamed, she hid in the trees. And Lord Shiva wanted to see her beautiful form. He just followed her. It is said just like a male elephant follows a female elephant into the forest. He said in the forest, sometimes a female elephant will just rub her body against a male elephant and then run into the forest. And the male elephant becomes maddened just by the touch of the skin of the female elephant. Male elephant will run behind the female elephant. That is how elephants are trapped and hunted down. Deliberately, a female elephant is employed to distract and agitate the mind of a male elephant, who is then led into a trap where he falls into a ditch. So, of course, there was no ditch here, but that sight of the beautiful body further agitated. She went and ran into the trees, and Lord Shiva, like, I can't see her now. He went running behind her. Victimized by lust, the Bhagavatam says, just as a male elephant follows a female elephant. Went behind the trees. He was so maddened by lust, they said he held her by her hair and pulled her towards him. And maddened by lust, he embraced her, trying to kiss her. And she, being Lord Vishnu, I mean, normally any girl wouldn't be able to escape from the clasp of Lord Shiva, but Mohini managed to extricate herself from the clasp of Lord Shiva and ran away. And Shiva is following her. Wait, where are you going? Huh? Mohini Murti is running away in a bashful way with Lord Shiva chasing her, harassed by lust. Can you imagine what kind of a scene this would have been? And the Bhagavatam says Lord Shiva was so agitated. So when the male is extremely agitated by lust, he was so agitated that it is said, the Bhagavatam says, Lord Shiva discharged semen as he was running behind Mohini Murti. So wherever drops of his semen fell on the earth, it is said, there gold and silver mines became created because of the powerful semen of Lord Shiva. And Mohini Murti deliberately paraded Lord Shiva everywhere, running around as Lord Shiva was chasing. Through the rivers and the lakes and the mountains and the gardens, especially those places where great sages had their hermitages. Mohini Murti was running from that place and Lord Shiva was chasing. Totally oblivious that he was irresistibly being attracted by this beautiful form. The Acharyas comment, they say, actually Lord Vishnu did this just to tell all these sages how careful you have to be of the attractive form of a woman. Otherwise, through the example of Lord Shiva, you will get bewildered like this. So one should never think himself so liberated that I will never be affected by the woman. Anyone who thinks like this is doomed to fall down. That is why especially those who are in the sannyas order, all, but especially those who are in the sannyas order are to be so careful. What to speak of associating with a woman? Lord Chaitanya would say one should not even associate with those who are attached to women. Yoshita Sangi Sangam. That is the reason Lord Chaitanya would not even meet with King Prataparudra as a king. So strict. So these are the lessons. So that's why he was parading. Not to humiliate Lord Shiva, but give a lesson to the sages. So finally, when a man is very agitated with lust, eventually when semen is discharged, the lust goes down. Finally, Lord Shiva came to his senses. When passion reduced, he eventually realized what actually is happening. And then he restrained himself from running behind Mohini. And then he realized, what had happened? I had become so overwhelmed by lust, being attracted by this Mohini Murti that I totally lost control of my mind and senses and chased this Mohini Murti. But at that point of time, Lord Shiva was not surprised and he was not ashamed because he could understand the position of Lord Vishnu and how powerful Vishnu's Maya is. Especially, both Mahamaya is very powerful, but even Vishnu's spiritual energy is so nobody can resist the charms of the powerful potency of Lord Vishnu. Aparidneya Viryasya. Adbhutam, the Adbhuta way of Lord Hari. Lord Shiva acknowledged and understood the unlimited potency of Lord Vishnu. And he accepted Lord Vishnu as his all-powerful master. Nobody can become equal to Lord Vishnu. Vatta parataram nanyat kinchidasya Dhananjaya, Krishna says in the Bhagavatam. There is no one superior to him. And there is no one who is beyond the influence of the Lord's Maya. So even though in one sense, externally it may appear that Lord Shiva was humiliated, actually internally the Lord was very pleased. Why Lord Shiva was pleased? Because he could see how Lord's potency, Lord Hari's potency is so extraordinary that even it is able to overwhelm me, who is beyond the modes of nature. When I can be, what to speak of others? And that's also the lesson that Lord Vishnu gave to all the sages. Lord Vishnu, also seeing Lord Shiva's character, that normally if somebody was treated like this, imagine, if we were overwhelmed like this by the Lord's Maya and publicly a great devotee who has many disciples, he showed this kind of a behavior, a sannyasi, a guru. The tendency generally will be that we'll feel so humiliated. Oh, in front of all my disciples, I showed that I'm overwhelmed by Maya. Lord Shiva doesn't feel like that. He feels, oh, just see how great my Lord is. Seeing that Lord Shiva was not so concerned about what others will think of him, but more thinking how great my Lord is. See, did you see how great my Lord is that he can even overwhelm me? So he was more thinking about how glorious the Lord is. He wasn't bothered about what others think of him. Seeing this mentality of Lord Shiva, Lord Vishnu became extremely pleased with Lord Shiva. Lord Vishnu started glorifying Lord Shiva. Oh, you are so great. You are so wonderful. You are not feeling ashamed. You are feeling grateful. You are absorbed in the thought of my glories. That's so great. You are so amazing, Lord Shiva. So Lord Shiva in his heart is glorifying Lord Vishnu. Lord Vishnu in his heart is appreciating Lord Shiva. This is the perfection of consciousness. So at that point, actually, the Lord personally appeared in his original form as Chaturbhuj Vishnu form. The Mohini Murti form was removed and the Lord appeared in front of Lord Shiva and started glorifying him. He tells Lord Shiva, O Vibhuda Shrestha, O great amongst the devotees of the Devatas, all auspiciousness unto you. Even though you are so harassed by my Maya, the form of a woman, you still remain established in your position, in your pure consciousness. You didn't feel. What does it mean, established in your position? We say, he got disturbed. No, you remained established in your position of pridelessness, in your position of being my humble servant. You didn't have that ego that, mere saath aisa kiya, ye kya? I am your great devotee. You insulted me in front of all my followers. What is this? You shouldn't have done this to me. I did so much for you. Why you did this to me? No, not that attitude. Shiva is the best of all devotees. Vaishnavanam yatha Shambhu. Usually Lord Krishna's special favor is that whenever a devotee becomes little proud, the Lord deliberately puts him into these kind of situations to make him humble. Of course, Lord Shiva wasn't proud, but He is using him in this example just to set an example for others. A devotee should not be agitated in any circumstances. Even in the worst of reverses, this is so embarrassing for Lord Shiva. Lord Shiva is the embodiment of detachment. And to be attracted to a parastri and publicly attracted to a parastri to the point of chasing her, embracing her, trying to kiss her and discharging semen in public and being so maddened and not even being aware of what is happening around. What can be more shameful for an individual? But Lord Shiva was not agitated in terms of his ego. He was never disturbed or displaced from his pure consciousness that I am an eternal servant of the Lord. So this kind of pridelessness is only possible for first class devotees like Lord Shiva. So sometimes in the lives of devotees, what to speak of Lord Shiva, I'm talking about other advanced devotees, sometimes even Mahamaya, in certain situations, because of certain reasons, temporarily a devotee may become bewildered. But even then, the devotee is always takes the humble position and glorifies the Lord, is of course repentant of his mistake and his getting overwhelmed, but always takes a humble position and never blames the Lord. Lord Vishnu glorifies Lord Shiva. He says, who but you, O Lord Shiva, can surpass my illusory energy? Illusory energy is dustaram, it is so difficult. Krishna even says in the Bhagavad Gita, right? This Maya of mine is very difficult to overcome. Trigunamayi Esha Mama Maya Duratyaya. Same thing is being mentioned here. Dustaram Maya. Especially for those who are Akrita Atmabi, those who don't have control of the senses, and those who are Visaktaha, those who are attached to matter. Very difficult. Then Lord Shiva, Lord Vishnu, pointing to Umadevi, who's standing nearby, he tells, your wife is actually my energy, Maya. Yeah? Uma, she's manifesting the three modes. And by through her agency, the whole material nature is manifested. Yeah? But you are never attracted by the three modes. You are actually transcendent. So Lord Shiva, Lord Vishnu in this way, he praised Lord Shiva. And then after this, Lord Shiva circumambulated Lord Hari 3 times. He along with Bhavani, he circumambulated and Lord Shiva then tells Bhavani something very wonderful. He says, oh goddess, did you see this beautiful illusory energy of the unborn Supreme Lord by which even I, his principal expansion, became bewildered? If I am bewildered, what to speak of other living entities who are actually immersed in Maya, in your energy? I am meditating on him always. Huh? When I finished my mystic meditation after 1000 years, you had asked me earlier, who is it that I was meditating on for 1000 years? Yam mama apricchastvam upetya yogat samasahasranta uparatam vai sa esha sakshat pumsha purano nayatra kalo vishate navedaha. That person, you had asked me that time, no, who I'm meditating on, he's that person. He's my boss on whom I'm meditating. He is the true Lord of Maya. He is actually your master. He is who Maya never bewilders. Here is that supreme person who even time and the Vedas cannot approach and so in this way Lord Shiva glorified Supreme Lord and then they departed for their abode. This chapter concludes by Shukadev Goswami telling Parikshit Maharaj that I have described to you now the great glories of Lord Saranga Dhanva, the Lord who holds the Saranga bow. who in the form of Kurma held the Mandara mountain on his back and performed the Samudra Manthan pastime. And then comes the Falashruti of the Samudra Manthan pastimes. He says, whoever constantly hears or describes Kirtayanto, Kirtayato, Anushrunato, those who either chant or hear this narration of the Lord's transcendental qualities, Uttama Shloka Gunanu Varnanam, Na Rishyate Jatu Samudyama Kvachit, one's endeavors will never be fruitless and one can annihilate all material sufferings. Samasta Samsara Parishramapaham. So that is the phala of reading the Samudra Manthan pastimes. Then he concludes the chapters by offering his obeisances to the Lord and says that obeisances to the Lord who always fulfills the desires of his devotees and who is known by those devotees who surrender to his lotus feet and who is not understood by the atheists, asad avishayam, that Lord I offer obeisances who in his deceptive form of a young woman bewildered the demons and distributed the nectar, the devatas. Mohini Murti ki jai. Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Thank you. Any questions or comments? Yes, Suresh Prabhu?
Yeah, Hare Krishna Prabhu. Prabhu, in this episode, right, Shiva is the Brahma Vishnu Maheshwar, that's Shiva, right, Prabhu?
Yes.
So the Leela who resides in Ilavartavarsha.
Correct.
And Shiva who is above Brahma Loka, he is alone, right, Prabhu? Sadashiv.
No, there also there is Gauri.
Okay.
So just like Lord Vishnu is accompanied by his energy, in Golok there is Radha, in Dwarka there is Rukmini, in Vaikuntha there is Lakshmi. In these worlds, whenever the Lord appears, also he appears with his consort. Ajita married Lakshmi Devi, right, in this Samudra Manthan pastime. That's Manvantara Avatar marrying his consort. In the previous Yuga, in the Chakshusha Manvantara, when the Lord appeared as Vaikuntha, as the son of Vaikuntha, he married Rama Devi. In the current Manvantara, the Lord appears as Vamana Dev, Upendra. He married his wife Kirti, who's an expansion of the goddess Lakshmi. The Lord marries. So in the same way, when Lord Shiva comes, he marries Parvati. In the Sadashiva Loka, also the Lord is with his consort, who is the original Parvati, the origin of Parvati. Just like all Shiva forms come from Sadashiva, all forms of Durga will come from Lord Shiva's consort. I do not remember what specific name she is known by in that particular realm, but there will be his consort there as well.
Yes.
But this is Ilavartha Lord Shiva. Yes.
Yes. Prabhu, other question, Prabhu. In the Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhya Leela, like
Yeah.
Jiva Goswami has written Bhagavata Sandarbha, right? So in this, I was reading, so what all books he has written, right? Those books are very much advanced topic, which is not there in Bhagavatam.
No, they are based on the Bhagavatam. They are not beyond the Bhagavatam. The Shat Sandarbhas, which are written by Jiva Goswami, are primarily based on the Bhagavatam. So in the Bhagavat Sandarbha, in the Tattva Sandarbha, he establishes the greatness of Bhagavatam as the text, as the perfect text and the supreme text for all perfect answers. And then he explains on the basis of Bhagavatam various in other Sandarbhas, Bhakti Sandarbha, Priti Sandarbha, Bhagavad Sandarbha, the Tattva or the philosophy of Lord Chaitanya, he substantiates based on Bhagavatam and other scriptures also, he substantiates the philosophy of Lord Chaitanya.
So it is much advanced topic, right, Prabhu?
It is an in-depth analysis of the philosophy of Lord Chaitanya argued on the basis of Shastra, especially the Bhagavad. So yes, in that sense it is advanced, but it is not talking about confidential Radha Krishna pastime. It is not in that way. So it is something which we all can study. The Sandarbhas are something which should. I have a full set of the Sandarbhas. I hope. So Bhagavad Sandarbha establishes how Bhagavatam is taught. So somebody may say, oh, you're only referring to Gita and Bhagavatam. Oh, Bhagavatam says Krishna is this, but my Shiv Puran says this. So Shiv Goswami very thoroughly analyzes based on scriptural statements why Bhagavat is the reference, why it is the topmost reference, why it is the perfect reference, how it is better than all other scriptural references, what is the position of the Bhagavat. So he argues all that.
So
So
one more
for those who wants to preach and who want a very solid philosophical basis in Krishna consciousness on the basis of Shastra, the Shat Sandarbhas are a very good reference. Yeah.
Yeah, Prabhu, and this Rupa Goswami has written like Vrindavana pastimes, which is almost 1 lakh shlokas. So was it narrated to him by Lord Chaitanya?
No, no. So not narrated, but in their own meditations, the Goswamis would see the pastimes of the eternal Leela of Radha and Krishna. So in the realization, so they are not just writing stories the same way a movie script writer writes a movie script. Acharyas don't write books on Krishna's pastimes like that. Okay, now let me think. Oh, one day Radha and Krishna went somewhere, so just some imaginative thing. They're not writing imaginative things. Huh? The eternal, those who are chanting the holy names purely. First stage is one actually realizes Krishna and his name to be non-different. Then Nama, Rupa, Krishna's form becomes manifest. Then Krishna's qualities become manifest and realized. And then Krishna's Leela becomes realized, which means one actually can witness and enter into Radha and Krishna's pastimes in one spiritual form simply through chanting the holy name. So in the deep meditation of the holy name and the chanting of the holy names, the acharyas are able to witness and enter into the eternal Leela of these pastimes of the Lord, or see what happened even on earth when these pastimes are manifested. Because those pastimes are also eternally being performed in different universes. So they are actually able to see. So, for example, even Valmiki, right? Valmiki wrote the Ramayana before even the Ramayana happened. Valmiki did not write the Ramayana later after Ramayana. He wrote the Ramayana before the Ramayana happened. Through his meditation, he could see what all is going to happen. He noted down everything. Later, he taught it to Love and Kush. So those who are great souls, they are able to. So they see and they note down what they see in their spiritual realization. Okay. Thank you very much. Any other question or comment? Anyone wants to share anything, add anything? Okay, so thank you so much. Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. So I will see you. Today is a very auspicious day. So I will see you next Saturday. Actually, I will be busy. Most likely, I'm going to the convention. I'm intending to Krishna willing. So I'll get to meet Indulekha Mataji. Last time I met her in the convention. So I look forward to seeing her. So those of you who are in Malaysia who can come for the convention, please come. Many saintly personalities. We heard Japataka Maharaj is also going to come. Holiness Bhakti Vigna Vinash and Singha Maharaj will also be there, and quite a few other sannyasis will also be coming. If possible, if you are here, please come. So next weekend I will not have, but I will see if possible we'll do the class on a Monday or Tuesday is also holiday, 15, 16 in Malaysia. So let's see, I will let you know if possible. Otherwise, we can skip the class for the next weekend. So it's a Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday event. So it will be quite long and busy. I'll be traveling. Okay. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna. Shri Prabhupada.
Thank you,
Hare
Prabhuji.
Krishna,
Hare
Prabhu.
Krishna.
Thank you very much.
Hare Krishna.
Hare
See you
Thank you,
there,
Prabhuji.
Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you, thank you,
Hare
thank
Thank
you.
you, Prabhuji.
Thank
See
you,
you at
Thank
the
you, everyone.
convention, Prabhu.
See you at
Krishna,
the
Prabhu.
Krishna
convention.
Prabhu. Thank you very much.
Haribol,
Haribol.
Bhaskar, Haribol, Sridevi Mataji, Tarun. Tarun is driving. Hari, Hari.
Okay, Prabhuji is getting driven.
Hari, Hari. Vinod Prabhu, Sachi Prema Mataji, Amit, Priya, Anand Sundari Mataji, Shaligram, Priya Mataji. Thank you all very much.